Imagine waking up tomorrow to find your private bank transfers, account details, and financial history exposed for anyone to see online. For thousands of Indians, this nightmare just became reality. What you're about to hear is one of the most significant financial data breaches in recent Indian history. Thousands of sensitive bank transfer records have been discovered sitting openly on the internet, accessible to anyone with basic technical knowledge. I'm Dataman, and today we're diving deep into this developing story that could affect millions of Indians and raises serious questions about digital banking security in our country. The breach was first discovered by cybersecurity researchers who were conducting routine scans for exposed databases. What they found was shocking: a massive unprotected database containing personal bank account numbers, transaction histories, transfer amounts and dates, account holder names, banking institutions involved, UPI transaction records. The researchers estimate this data spans multiple banks and could represent transactions worth crores of rupees. The database was completely open. No passwords, no encryption, no security measures whatsoever. To understand how serious this is, let's break down the numbers. Estimated impact: over X thousand individual records exposed, multiple major Indian banks affected, transaction data spanning several months, personal information of account holders compromised. But here's what makes this particularly dangerous. This isn't just account numbers. This is a complete financial profile of thousands of Indians. Criminals could use this information for identity theft, targeted phishing attacks, fraudulent loan applications, social engineering scams, blackmail, or extortion. You're probably wondering, how does something like this even happen? The answer reveals systemic problems in India's digital banking infrastructure. The likely culprits: 1. Third-party payment processors. Many banks use external companies to process transactions. If these vendors don't secure their systems properly, sensitive data gets exposed. 1. API security failures. Banks share data through APIs, digital bridges between systems. Poor API security can leave these bridges wide open. 1. Cloud misconfigurations. More banks are moving to cloud storage. One misconfigured server can expose millions of records. 1. Inadequate oversight, with digital payments exploding in India, from Rs 07 lakh crore in 2018 to over Rs 125 lakh crore today. Security measures haven't kept pace. The rapid digitization of Indian banking, especially after demonetization and during COVID-19, has created a perfect storm. Banks rushed to implement digital solutions without always prioritizing security. Let me tell you what this means for ordinary Indians whose data was exposed. Meet Priya. Hypothetical example based on typical scenarios. She's a software engineer in Bangalore. Her UPI transactions, salary credits, and even her weekend shopping habits are now visible to anyone who accessed this database. Criminals can see she transfers Rs 25,000 to her parents monthly, shops at premium stores, and recently made a large purchase, making her a perfect target for sophisticated scams. The ripple effects: insurance fraud using transaction patterns, targeted romance scams on dating apps, business competitors accessing financial intelligence, discrimination based on spending habits, family disputes over hidden transactions. This isn't just about money, it's about privacy, dignity, and trust in our financial system. So what are the authorities doing about this? RBI's role. The Reserve Bank of India has strict data protection guidelines for banks, but enforcement has been inconsistent. This breach highlights gaps in regular security audits, third-party vendor oversight, real-time monitoring systems, incident response protocols, legal framework. Under India's Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023, companies face penalties up to Rs 250 crore for such breaches. But the law's implementation is still evolving. Bank responses. Several affected banks have issued statements promising investigations, but many customers still don't know if their data was compromised. While we can't control bank security, we can protect ourselves. Immediate actions: 1. Check your statements. Look for unusual transactions. 2. Enable account alerts. Get notified of every transaction. 3. Use strong, unique passwords for each banking app. 4. Enable two-factor authentication wherever possible. 5. Monitor your credit score regularly. Advanced protection. Consider using virtual cards for online transactions. Limit UPI app permissions on your phone. Use separate accounts for large transactions. Be extra cautious of phishing attempts. Criminals now have your real transaction data to make scams more convincing. Red flags to watch for. Calls mentioning your exact transaction amounts. Emails referencing specific banks you use. Messages about suspicious activity on accounts you actually have. This breach isn't just a technical failure. It's a wake-up call for India's digital economy. We're witnessing the growing pains of a rapidly digitalizing nation. India processed 74 billion digital transactions last year, but our security infrastructure hasn't scaled at the same pace. What needs to change? Mandatory security certifications for payment processors, real-time monitoring of sensitive databases, stricter penalties for data mishandling, better coordination between banks and cybersecurity agencies, public transparency about breach incidents. The goal isn't to stop digital banking, it's to make it secure. Countries like Estonia and Singapore have shown it's possible to have both innovation and security. The exposure of thousands of Indian bank records isn't just a story about technology gone wrong, it's about trust. Trust between citizens and banks, between consumers and the digital economy we're all increasingly dependent on. This breach will likely lead to stronger regulations, better security practices, and more awareness about digital privacy. But that's cold comfort for those whose financial lives are now exposed online. The lesson? In our rush toward a cashless society, we can't afford to leave security behind. Your money might be digital, but the consequences of these breaches are very, very real. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and remember, in the digital age, your data is often more valuable than the money in your account. What do you think? Have you noticed any suspicious activity on your accounts lately? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more cybersecurity updates that affect Indians like you. Subscribe for weekly cybersecurity news. Share your banking security tips below, like if this helped you stay safer online. Follow us for real-time security alerts.